you divide by 2, and what do you get?
6.
6. Oh, you are wonderful people. You just know it. Very wise to do math. Okay, so 6 minutes. So what you get up here and do, and start practicing, you will not want to practice your speech at 5 minutes. You do not want to practice your speech at 6.5 minutes. You're going to give yourself a little bit of a cushion. Why is that?
So you're within the time range. I don't know.
What?
So you're within your time.
Exactly right. And you know what can happen, Miss Riley? Sometimes you get up there, and some of you will get up here and you start talking, and you get real nervous, and you talk real fast. And you practice your speech in 5 minutes, and you go up there and you just running through it. You're just like a person who goes from first speech to fifth speech. You're going, all right? And all of a sudden you look. I'm not sure how she's going to keep her time or anything, but probably will look and says, "Oh, I'm 4/5 of the way through, 80% of the way through, and I've only been up here for 3 minutes." That's not going to work. The others of you, Miss Oviedo, do you have? Are you texting?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, please do that. Turn that off. Anybody else have a cell phone on? Please cut it off. Thank you so much. But anyway, so what you wind up doing, you'll get up here and you will love the way your voice sounds. There's just something. Too slow, too fast. I want to think about the acoustics and the room, and you're talking. And you love it, Mr. Guerrero. And all of a sudden, you don't even pay any attention to Miss Langford. And then you're giving your speech, and then all of a sudden you notice you're almost out of time. But if you have practice within a certain parameter, you should be okay. Now, a couple of things we're going to talk about also when we're talking too fast and too slow, too fast. I want to talk a little about empathy. Because empathy will become very important when you start doing your speeches, because you need to know what empathy is, first of all. What is empathy? What is empathy? Anybody? What is empathy? Surely you know. Some of you probably had it this morning. What is empathy?
Is that the opposite of sympathy?
Well, it's kind of, they're not synonymous, but it's something like sympathy. Okay, somebody, tell me what empathy is.
It's kind of like the audience understands kind of what you're going through.
Okay, kind of what you're going through. And in order to sort of understand what they're going through, what do you have to, what emotion do you have? I mean, do you have any emotion toward it?
You're not really critical of them. You feel like they want.
What? Go back.
You're not very critical of them.
Was something else you said? Rewind. Go back. You kind of begin with F. That's right. Exactly. Empathy is feeling. Empathy is feeling. See, it's amazing how much you already know, and I forget what put things. Okay. So empathy is really feeling. Empathy is really feeling. You know what somebody is going through. Now we have 2 levels of empathy. 2 levels of empathy. We have emotional level, and we have intellectual level. Okay. And this is somewhat genderized. By that I mean pertaining to gender. Now, who do you think has a tendency to be more emotional with their empathy?
Women.
Men or women?
Women.
That's right, women. And men have a tendency to be more intellectual with theirs. It's one of those situations. Say, for instance, Mr. Chris No Camera. Okay. All right. What's your last name? Snyder. Mr. Snyder. Okay. So we have a situation where you and I are talking in the hallway, and Miss Cantrell kind of walks by, and I mean, we get up in each other's face. I mean, big time. Okay. And all of a sudden, it's time to go to class. Are you going to meet me for racquetball? Oh yeah. And he will be there because that's the way guys are. We can compartmentalize that. Say, for instance, Miss Madrice, and Miss Anthony. You go out shopping together, okay, and you have a nice time. You love to go shopping, okay, and then you go and you happen to see dresses, and they have the 2 of the same dresses, and they're in exactly the same size. Hey, girl, I'm gonna get this. She says, yeah, I'm gonna get it too. So you get it, and then Mr. Hunter over here decides he's gonna have a party, okay, and says, are you gonna wear your dress? No, I'm not wearing my dress. So these 2 ladies show up at the same time, and they get out. And guess what they are wearing? The same outfit. And you should see them looking at each other, walking around like Mike Vick. Almost go have a dog fight here. Excuse me. All right. You're not texting either, are you? Okay. So anyway, and they go to the party. And every time Idris comes into a room where Miss Anthony is, Miss Anthony walks out. Okay? So we're talking about empathy, being emotional. So a lot of the time the party is over, they're getting ready to leave, and says, are you going to go shopping tomorrow? Yeah, girl, I'm going shopping. So, well, where do you think we go? Well, she thinks it's okay. So let me see, where's the farthest place we can go? Let's go to Ingram Mall, except for oh no, let's go to St. Marcus. St. Marcus? Yeah, and let's be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Really? He says, yeah, 9 o'clock in the morning. So she goes home. And Mr. Idris is on the side of the sale. And she drives all the way up to St. Marcus. She gets there early. And she's in the parking lot waiting for Miss Anthony. You think Miss Anthony's going to show up? Come on, have a seat.
No.
Okay, that's right. Because there's an emotional level of empathy. I'm not going to show up for that. You know? Okay? Alright, just have a seat and take your hat off. Alright, moving on. Now, as we move on, public speaking. Which you will be doing. You will be giving a presentation. Okay? You will be giving a presentation. You're quite welcome. My name is not Boss, though. Okay? And make a nameplate, please. We're talking about public speaking is not a performance. It is not a performance. It is communication oriented. Okay, just take a seat picture. And you write the last name. It is communication oriented, not performance oriented. So you need to keep that in mind. And it gives you some basic ideas here. And what you'll wind up doing is that you will be making it your own. So as you're thinking about your presentations, and the presentations are going to be on what?
Cover your research.
Oh, well, their particular career that they do. Ms. Crawford, what do you want to be?
Physical therapist.
Physical therapist. So you start thinking about maybe 3 key points and why you decide to be a physical therapist. What about you, Mr. Guerrero? What do you want to do? A physicist. Oh, you're a brainy guy. I saw you. I knew that. What do you read?
It's not science, it's all literature.
What is it?
Literary theory.
What?
Literary theory.
Oh, real cerebral, real deep. Okay, but anyway, so as you're thinking about that, come up with 3 key points. And keep in mind, it's communication oriented. So you're focusing on that. Now, when you think about that, you want to also examine a body. Age, background, interest, those things. With age comes attitude. Look at your background. Why do you think these things are important as you think about your particular presentations? Age, background, interest, knowledge, and experience. Why is that?
Wait, what's your question?
When you're looking at your audience, okay, and you're examining them, why do you think that's important? Did you look at your handout?
Because that's how you're going to address them.
And it's important that you know some of the things that they can relate to, what their background is. Now, we're going to go to the next sheet. Okay, we're going to go to the next sheet. And we're going to talk about the ABCs of preparing an informative speech. Because you will be doing an informative speech, Ms. Bradley. So certain things that you want to know. It will be an informative speech. So you're not there trying to convince anybody of anything. Why it is that you want to be a physical therapist. Why it is you want to be a physicist. What do you want to do, Mr. Manilow? Play piano? No.
Actually, I want to be a marine biologist.
A marine biologist. Well, that's heady too. What about you, Mr. Hunter?
Physical therapist.
Physical therapist. Well, that's good. Anybody want to be a teacher? None of the guys? I tell you, thank you so much. The teaching profession is wonderful. But there's a lot of things out there for any of you guys who are interested in teaching. There's a lot of support out there because, there's significantly fewer guys teaching now than there used to be. So avoid needless commentary. Remember, it is not an opinion oration because you're doing an informative speech. Then, avoid taking a position. So a lot of you have a tendency when you get to speak, Mr. Gutierrez, and you think, well, I've got to convince you of something. Not in an informative speech. Just tell us about your career. Tell us about your career. Think about what you want your audience to remember. So you're telling somebody, Mr. Clement, in this class, now what it is that are you interested in? Business. Have you talked to Ms. Dusselin? She's over at the Academic One. She's the head of the business department. And so that's the other thing too. Those of you who are interested in physical therapy, you should check with Dr. Adams over in the Wellness Center. You should get to know who here is the specific representative that's going to help you. What are you interested in, Mr. Kohler?
Actually, I want to open up my own